not being taken up, and the we are losing our ancestral designs, I'll say. We are losing our culture over the new buildings which are coming up with just glass and metal composites and all the buildings looking the same. How can we try to set our mindset and make or come up to those buildings which look like ours, which
See, I don't have any pressure of making buildings look traditional necessarily.
Yes.
So I don't want to propagate the fact that I have to make a classical building or I have to make it look in a certain way. That's not the that should not be the way we should look at it. With new materials, with the modern era. In fact, postmodern is also now passé. With trying to connect back to the past may not necessarily mean that you have to mimic the past.
Yes.
And of course, certain cases you might make an arch, you might sort of create an archway or a gateway in a certain way. I feel that in every building has its own time and place. When I want to say that I want to connect to the past, that doesn't mean I replicate the a colonial architecture in a certain way. I don't. I kind of try to transform as opposed to transfer. One tries to evolve the fundamental nuances of elements of building coming together. So, using modern materials, using surfaces as a surface strategy, an architecture of its own right needs to be established. It's not sort of any force that, oh my god, I'm thinking too modern, I'm thinking too traditional. I think the language of building should come about from the material, from the function, and I'll repeat myself on that. And I think that by using, yes, what is important is not look at it as a functional box only. Functionality is critical, but you know, aspects of its inner use needs to pop out. The interplay of outside and inside is really the skin. And the skin needs to talk to the outside inside in a way that spaces, functions overlap, and then that skin itself allows the conversation and dialogue to happen.
I'll say, as a facade engineer, when I started it off, people used to ask me, you have nothing to do. What's there in a facade? I used to tell them that I'm a fashion designer. Because there's a model and I have to give her clothes or him clothes. And those clothes are going to make him look like a model. So the true contour is going to look like a model. So that's how I used to introduce myself. And we used to have a lot of discussions and a lot of we used to have a lot of discussions and a lot of queries that why facade? Why not anything else? You have been doing precast engineering, you have been. I said, look, there is something has to be with the style form also. I'll come to the James Bond types.
Yeah.
So that's how we started dealing with the facade. And I started evolving the facade into a discussion. Otherwise, people used to just take facade as one of the things. Okay, ठीक है, हो जाएगा, end में कर देंगे. So it was something like that.
I see an interesting question from Harshal Shinde. How do you see the future of ventilated facades? And I think this is very critical because I think ventilated facades essentially, the way I understand is either it's automated ventilation or natural ventilation. And this is essentially a logic of a screen, Harshal. The screen allows the outside inside to be more permeable at certain level. And how do we design the screen is the question. And of course, there can be a lot of creative solutions for that. Particularly in tropical climate, where the screen is the in-between layer of the outside and inside. Particularly in non-programmed spaces, for example, the whole building, it can be an air-conditioned building, and there could be glass because of its functionality.
Yes.
But the entire building is not air-conditioned. There are parts that could have more permeability where the wind can flow, the air can flow. And of course, that reduces your heat load, it reduces your necessity to have the entire building guzzling up energy. So to me, ventilated surfaces allows a natural air to flow, and you'll find that in old Kolkata, in the jalis and the louvers. You'll find that in many traditional building formats.
Hawa Mahal of Jaipur.
Of course, that's
That's one of our
find
prestigious projects.
Yeah, and I think
Of the
it's
country.
important. What is this? This is all about airflow.
Yes.
I think the god of ventilated facade is Kerry Hill in Singapore. These guys have really evolved modern expressions by using simple materials in a tropical context. I, as a Calcutta practitioner, tend to look up to Southeast Asian masters, and of course, people like Jeffrey Bawa, who has created fundamentals space making. Again, when your desire is to make spaces and to look at the design holistically, then you start looking at the design holistically as opposed to looking at how this piece looks and how that piece looks. The other interesting one, which I see, traditional designs can be merged into modern design. Well, that's the golden question, Sadak. Sadak, traditional design merged into modern design. We are trying to address the question from Charles Fourier's era. So we have to keep thinking. I try to do that in my architecture. So does many of my good friends. How can it be merged into modern design? By using probably modern materials, but thinking transformation and not transfer. There's a lovely chapter which Korea mentions about the difference between transfer and transformation. Transformation is trying to take the ethos of the why the material and why the form is used, and to derive and redefine the making of the project. And transfer is sort of just somehow making it. That's like using any material that can somehow look like something else. Transformation is somewhere where there is a more meaningful, derivation of the original use, but by using modern materials. And I think when Bharat Bhavan is designed, or when a city center is designed in Kolkata, it's about transformation, while streets and chalks are redefined in a modern format. How do we do in facades? You should see the ITC Shunar, where our GRC jalis were used to make screens. A lot of light filtration and light angles were made so that the ray of light falls in the appropriate way. So yeah, that's we can talk about it for an hour, but but yeah, it's probably the fundamental issue that most of us try to delve in our architecture practices.
It's now time, I'll say, and we tried our best for the viewers, I'll say, and the viewers have asked so many beautiful questions and so many intriguing, I'll say, topics that are right now going into our society as civil engineering society and the architectural society. And when we are ending this session right now, I would like to thank architect Ayan Sen for giving us so much time and giving our viewers so much detail about the buildings, the composition of facade into a building, and how we should think forward and how we should go forward towards it. And I'll also thank my team who has been giving me and passing me all the papers right now with all your questions. And they have been really helpful today. I'll also thank everybody who has been seeing our session and asking us questions. I would also request you, if your question has not been answered, then please send it to info@aludecor.com. I'll try to answer it as soon as possible, and I'll get back to you. And if any questions are towards Mr. Ayan Sen.
Short session to a very important topic. Really appreciate Aludecor's effort to initiate a professional dialogue of this kind, and I think we'll try to address more answers to the lovely, intriguing questions that has come during this live session, and we'll take it offline. Last parting thoughts for myself is that the future of facades lie in integrating thought of facades with the overall project itself. And the future of materials is to sort of look at tradition and modernity in the same light.
So with this, I'll be signing off. Thanks all.
Thank you.
And thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
And thanks all the team who has been working with us. Thank you.